You think being nice makes you lovable, but what if it's slowly erasing you? In this video, we expose the hidden cost of overgiving, people-pleasing, and kindness without boundaries. If you're exhausted from always putting others first, it's time to ask, who's taking care of you while you care for everyone else? Chapter 1, The Mask of Kindness. You've always been the kind one, the helper, the peacemaker, the person who says yes even when it hurts, who listens even when you're drowning in your own thoughts, who gives without asking for anything in return. People admire you for it. They say you're so nice, why so generous, why so easy to be around. But what if that praise is built on a misunderstanding? What if your kindness isn't a strength but a mask? For many, kindness begins as a survival strategy. It's not just about being good, it's about being safe. If you're agreeable, you won't be rejected. If you're helpful, you'll be loved. If you never cause conflict, you'll never be abandoned. So you learn to smile through discomfort, to offer help even when you're exhausted, to swallow your needs so others can feel comfortable. You become the person everyone relies on, but no one really sees. This isn't just a personality trait. It's a deeply ingrained pattern, often rooted in childhood. Maybe you grew up in a home where love was conditional. You learned that being good earned approval, while expressing anger or sadness led to punishment or silence. So you adapted. You became the quiet one, the fixer, the emotional caretaker, and that role followed you into adulthood. Now you find yourself saying yes when you mean no. You offer support even when you're running on empty. You avoid conflict like it's poison, and you call it kindness. But it's not kindness. It's fear dressed up as generosity. Psychologist Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." That's the heart of this chapter. True kindness starts with self-acceptance, but when we're afraid to show our real selves, our anger, our exhaustion, our boundaries, we use niceness as a disguise. We become what others want, not who we are. Think about the last time you agreed to something you didn't want to do. Maybe it was a favor, a meeting, a conversation. You smiled, you nodded, and then you felt drained. That moment wasn't about kindness, it was about avoiding discomfort. You didn't want to disappoint. You didn't want to be seen as difficult. So you betrayed yourself a little just to keep the peace. This pattern is subtle but powerful. Over time, it chips away at your sense of identity. You start to wonder what you actually want, what you actually feel. You lose touch with your own needs because you're so focused on others. And the worst part? People rarely notice. They just see the smile. They just see the help. They don't see the cost. There's a term for this: emotional masking. It's when we hide our true feelings behind socially acceptable behaviors. We do it to fit in, to be liked, to avoid conflict. But it comes at a price. The more we mask, the more we disconnect from ourselves. And the more we disconnect, the lonelier we feel, even when we're surrounded by people. You might be wondering, isn't it good to be kind? Of course it is. But kindness without boundaries isn't kindness, it's self-erasure. When you give from a place of fear, obligation, or guilt, it's not a gift. It's a transaction. You're trading your energy for approval. And that's not sustainable. Let's pause here. Imagine someone who's always smiling, always helping, always available. Now imagine that same person crying alone at night, wondering why they feel so empty. That's the paradox of the too nice persona. On the outside, it looks like love. On the inside, it feels like abandonment. This kind of kindness is exhausting. It's not rooted in joy, it's rooted in anxiety. You're constantly scanning for others' needs, trying to anticipate their reactions, trying to stay one step ahead of disappointment. You become hyper-aware of everyone else and numb to yourself. And here's the kicker. The more you give, the more people expect. You set a precedent. You become the go-to person, the reliable one, the emotional sponge. And slowly your own needs vanish from the equation. You stop asking for help. You stop expressing frustration. You stop being real. But you don't have to live like this. The first step is awareness. Start noticing when your kindness feels heavy, when your yes feels like a no, when your smile feels forced. These moments are clues. They point to the places where you've been hiding. And once you see them, you can begin to choose differently. You're allowed to have limits. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to be real. That's not selfish, it's honest. And honest kindness is the kind that heals, not the kind that depletes. This isn't about becoming cold or distant. It's about becoming whole. When you include yourself in your circle of compassion, your kindness becomes more powerful. It's no longer a mask, it's a mirror. It reflects your truth, your boundaries, your humanity. So ask yourself, who are you beneath the mask? What do you need right now that you've been ignoring? What would it feel like to be kind to yourself first? If this resonates with you, you're not alone. So many people are trapped in the too nice cycle, quietly suffering behind their own generosity. But you can break free. You can choose authenticity over approval. You can choose boundaries over burnout. You can choose yourself. And if you want to keep exploring these truths with us, if you're ready to peel back the layers and reclaim your voice, subscribe to the channel. It's a small act of self-care, and it helps us keep creating content that speaks to your experience. Chapter 2. Compassion, Fatigue, and Self-Neglect. You keep giving. You keep showing up. You keep being the one who listens, supports, and softens the edges of everyone else's pain. But somewhere along the way, you stopped noticing your own. That's the quiet tragedy of being too nice. It's not just emotional exhaustion. It's a slow disappearance of self. Compassion fatigue isn't loud. It doesn't scream for attention. It creeps in like fog, blurring your sense of joy, numbing your reactions, making everything feel heavier than it should. You wake up tired. You feel drained after simple conversations. You start to dread the very interactions that used to make you feel useful. And yet you keep going. Because that's what nice people do. You tell yourself it's just a phase, that you're just busy, that you'll rest later. But later never comes. Because the world doesn't pause for people who overgive. It keeps asking, and you keep answering, until your kindness becomes a currency you can't afford. This chapter is about the cost of emotional overextension. When kindness becomes compulsive, it stops being generous. It becomes a reflex, a way to avoid guilt, conflict, or the fear of being seen as selfish. You say yes not because you want to, but because you're afraid of what no might mean. You offer help not because you have energy, but because you don't know how to say, "I'm tired." And the truth is, people rarely notice. They're used to your yes. They're used to your availability. They don't see the toll it takes. They don't see the moments when you're crying in the bathroom after a long day of being there for everyone else. They don't see the resentment building quietly in your chest. They just see the smile, the nod, the kindness, but you feel it. You feel it in your body. Tight shoulders, shallow breaths, headaches that linger. You feel it in your mind. Foggy thoughts, irritability, a sense of being emotionally flat. You feel it in your soul. A quiet ache that whispers, "I miss myself." Compassion fatigue is often mistaken for burnout, but it's more specific. It's the emotional depletion that comes from caring too much for too long without replenishment. It's common among caregivers, therapists, teachers, but it also shows up in everyday relationships. If you're the emotional anchor for your family, your friends, your partner, you're at risk, especially if you never ask for support in return. Self-neglect is the silent partner of compassion fatigue. It's what happens when you prioritize everyone else's needs above your own for so long that you forget what your needs even are. You stop checking in with yourself. You stop resting. You stop dreaming. You become a vessel for other people's emotions, and slowly yours fade into the background. This isn't sustainable, and it's not noble. It's dangerous. When you neglect yourself, you lose your center. You become reactive instead of intentional. You start to feel bitter, even toward the people you love. You fantasize about disappearing, about running away, about silence. Not because you don't care, but because you've cared too much, for too long, without care for yourself. And here's the paradox. The more you neglect yourself, the less effective your kindness becomes. You start to give from a place of emptiness. Your empathy turns into irritability. Your patience wears thin. You snap. You withdraw. You feel guilty. And then you overcorrect by giving even more. It's a cycle, and it's exhausting. So how do you break it? You start by recognizing that your needs matter, not after everyone else is taken care of, not when it's convenient. Now, you begin to treat yourself with the same tenderness you offer others. You ask yourself, what do I need today? And you listen. You stop waiting for permission to rest. You stop apologizing for having limits. Boundaries are the antidote to self-neglect. They're not walls, they're doors. They allow you to choose when and how you give. They protect your energy. They honor your humanity. Saying no doesn't make you cruel. It makes you clear. It makes you honest. It makes your yes more meaningful. You also need to redefine what kindness means. It's not about being endlessly available. It's not about sacrificing your well-being for others. True kindness includes the self. It's rooted in authenticity, not obligation. It's about showing up with presence, not performance. Imagine a version of yourself who gives from overflow, not depletion. Who rests without guilt. Who says no without fear. Who listens to others without abandoning your own voice. That version of you exists, but you have to choose it. Start small. Cancel a plan you're dreading. Say no to a request that drains you. Take a nap instead of answering another message. Let someone else carry the emotional weight for once. These aren't acts of selfishness. They're acts of reclamation. You've spent so long being the nice one that you've forgotten what it feels like to be the real one. But you can come back. You can reconnect with your own needs, your own desires, your own truth. And when you do, your kindness will become lighter, freer, more sustainable. Because kindness isn't just about others, it's about you too. Chapter 3. Reclaiming Authentic Kindness. You've spent years being the kind one, the reliable one, the person who always shows up even when it hurts. But now you're beginning to see the cracks. The fatigue, the quiet resentment, the loss of self. And maybe for the first time you're asking, what does kindness look like when it includes me? This chapter is about reclaiming kindness, not the compulsive kind that drains you, but the authentic kind that nourishes you and others. It's about shifting from obligation to intention, from fear to clarity, from performance to presence. Let's start with a simple truth. Kindness isn't about being liked. It's about being real. When you're kind from a place of fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being misunderstood, it's not kindness. It's self-protection. It's a way to stay safe, not a way to connect. Authentic kindness begins with boundaries, not the rigid kind that shuts people out, but the compassionate kind that says, this is what I can offer and this is what I can't. Boundaries aren't barriers, they're bridges. They allow you to show up fully, without resentment, without depletion. Think of a garden. If you water everyone else's plants but never tend to your own, your garden withers. You might still be surrounded by beauty, but you'll feel empty. True kindness means watering your own soil first. It means checking in with yourself before you check in with others. This shift starts with small choices, saying no when you're tired, pausing before you agree to something, asking yourself, do I want to do this or do I feel like I have to? These questions are powerful. They help you separate genuine generosity from emotional obligation. You might feel guilty at first. That's normal. Guilt is often a sign that you're breaking a pattern. especially if you've been conditioned to believe that your worth is tied to your usefulness. But guilt isn't a stop sign, it's a signal. It means you're growing. As you begin to set boundaries, you'll notice something surprising. Your relationships shift. Some people will respect your limits. Others might push back. That's okay. You're not responsible for other people's reactions. You're responsible for your own well-being. And here's the beauty of it. When you give from a place of fullness, your kindness becomes more powerful. It's no longer a transaction. It's a gift. You're not giving to be liked. You're giving because you choose to. That choice is everything. Authentic kindness also means being honest. Not brutally honest, not careless, but gently honest. It means saying, I'm not available right now, or I need some time to recharge, or I care about you but I can't take this on. These words are hard, but they're healing. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be endlessly patient, endlessly generous, endlessly available. You're allowed to be human, to have moods, to have limits, to have days when you need more than you can give. That's not weakness, that's reality. Kindness that includes the self is rooted in self-awareness. It asks, what do I need today? And listens. It honors your energy, your emotions, your truth. It doesn't demand that you abandon yourself to care for others. It invites you to care for yourself so you can care well. This kind of kindness is magnetic. It draws people in. Not because you're always agreeable, but because you're grounded. People trust you more when you're clear. They feel safer when you're honest. They respect you when you respect yourself. Reclaiming kindness also means letting go of the need to fix. You're not responsible for everyone's happiness. You're not the emotional janitor of the world. You can support others without carrying their pain. You can listen without absorbing. You can love without losing yourself. This is a practice. It takes time. You'll slip into old patterns. You'll overgive. You'll say yes when you mean no. That's okay. Every time you notice it, you're building awareness. And awareness is the first step toward change. You might also grieve. That's part of the process. You'll grieve the version of you who always said yes, who always smiled, who always made things easier for others. That version of you was doing their best. But now you're choosing something deeper, something truer. You're choosing to be kind without disappearing. Imagine waking up and feeling light, not because you have nothing to do, but because you're not carrying everyone else's emotions. Imagine saying yes with joy, not dread. Imagine giving because you want to, not because you're afraid not to. That's the life you're building, and it starts now. With one boundary, one pause, one moment of self-care, one honest conversation. These small acts add up. They reshape your relationships. They restore your energy. They reconnect you with yourself. You don't have to be the nice one anymore. You can be the real one, the whole one, the kind one who includes herself in the circle of care. Because kindness isn't what you give away. It's how you show up whole.